I'd like to welcome all our viewers around the world. Today we have a very special guest, Imtiyaz Ahmed, the renowned journalist from India. Mr. Imtiyaz Ahmed is the managing editor of MumbaiUrduNews.com. Much is happening in India. Today we will talk about the event that took place in December 16th to 20th in India, where the group of anti-Muslims openly declared the persecution of Muslims in India. So to talk about that, we have invited the managing editor of MumbaiUrduNews.com, Imtiyaz Ahmed. Before we go to Imtiyaz, I like to share a few things about India. Narendra Modi, the current Prime Minister of India, make a note about it. He is the first Prime Minister of India who became Prime Minister who was born after the independence of India in 1947. And he took power in India in 2014. Since then, the fundamentalist group, the fundamentalist local party, the Hinduism started to rise up. And the world community did pay attention, but nobody was vocal about it. And it's always something happened in India. And we all know Palestinian issues, but only few of us know what's going on, what's taking place in Kashmir. But we will not talk about that today. As I mentioned from the very beginning, the anti-Muslim groups, they openly declared the persecution of Muslims in India. And Mr. Modi, who was re-elected in May 2019, I believe, in a landslide victory. And since then, his supporter, the BJP of his political party, actually went into the train wreck. They know no boundaries of ethics. They know no boundaries of the law. Whatever they comes in their mouth, whatever they think in that given moment, when they're in a public meeting or public arena, or conducting any sort of public meeting, they get excited, then they start saying whatever they wish to. But every word that comes out from the leader's mouth, every single word has a consequences. And India is one of the biggest country by population. And the Indian leader, they like to call themselves the biggest democracy in the world. Well, democracy has some conditions. This is a man-made things. It's not a God-gifted natural things like we drink water or we breathe air. This is a man-made thing. And anytime there is a man-made thing, there is some flaws, bound to have some flaws, but that's we call, man-made. And every government around the world in each country, they have some sort of system. And democracy is the one of the most acceptable system around the world. But just because you are the biggest population in the world, just because you have a democratic institution in your country, such as Germany, France, UK, USA, Canada, it doesn't mean that you get a free ride, that you are practicing democracy in its utmost, and you are maintaining all the ethics and you are providing all the services to all of your populations. By definition, a country, a leader, a prime minister who, for instance, in India, the prime minister is responsible for day-to-day job. And he is responsible to provide the security to all of his population. Either it's a Muslim, Christian, Hindu, any. That's his responsibility. That's rests with him. But what's going on in India recently, that tells other story. And every time any Indian leader comes to overseas, they like to mention Mahatma Gandhi. Well, we know the story of Mahatma Gandhi. Let me begin telling you just a few names I like to share before I welcome Imtiyaz Ahmed, actually the contribution of Muslim leaders in India. So before I start going that, I like to mention another comment that was made by Narendra Modi's party. Mr. Uh, Modi mentioned that, the Indian Muslim, they need to prove their Indianship, their Indianness. And this is a very insulting comment by any means. For it should be, this comment should be, insulted to everybody in India. And early 2020, I think Modi government has said that comment in India's Muslim must prove their Indianness because their faith renders. It suspects. It is very dangerous political platform for India, and the world community must not ignore this. And recently, from December 17 through December 20th, as I mentioned from the very beginning, in last year, in 2021, in Haridwar, is a city and municipal corporation in the Haridwar district of Uttarakhand, India. The yearly, worship takes place over there. The yearly drama Sangsad held from December 16 to December 20, 2021. And in that event, the Hindu fundamentalists openly called for Muslim persecution in India. Without a question, such a statement would undermine social cohesion and bring a threat to India's national security. And without further ado, I like to welcome Imtiyaz Ahmed, the managing editor of Urdu News, dailynews.com from Mumbai. Mr. Imtiyaz, well, I like to thank you for your time and, from your busy schedule to spare some time with us and share what's going on in India, especially the event took place through December 16th through 20th. You wrote a very wonderful article. I had the privilege to read that article in a different language. You wrote it in Urdu, but I think around the world there was a few news outlets who translated your articles, your column in various language, and I was fortunate to read that one. And I like to welcome you, and please share how did you know about that event, and what prompted you to write such a weighty article.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Maksud, for giving me the opportunity for MWNC.net. Listen, we belong to the land of Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar. After the partition, there was a very turmoil in India. The great Gandhi and Baba Sahib Ambedkar, they contributed for the progress of India. The great Baba Sahib Ambedkar, who wrote the constitution. Now the problem started. The RSS is 125 years old organization, which is having all the branches in the Bajrang Dal, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, and some new organizations like Swami Yatanand, which you have quoted about the 16th December, about the Dharm Sansad rally, in which they officially denounced by the mass killing of the Muslims. The problem is after the event took place, not a single arrest has not been made, and it has been protested all over the India from the minority community as well as some secular Hindus who are really fighting hand to hand with Muslims against the communal forces of India. It is a very tragic time for after the Narendra Modi regime, the NDA government, in which is having a component in every states of India. They have formed a government and they have come in the high thumping majority all over the India. So the silence of the Prime Minister itself proves that he is supporting this kind of communal, and what I will tell, the Hitler type, the movement is going in all over the India. It is very, very tragic.
So, given the nature of the comments that we mentioned from the very beginning, the openly, calling
Yeah,
for persecution of Muslim,
yeah,
and in your article, you also mentioned that there isn't any political party who came forward and make any statements against it. But there was a two retired general
yeah,
who echo what we have just discussed, that, the this sort of, comments that comes out in a rally, and if government doesn't, take care of that, and if government doesn't take any action, this is absolutely a direct threat to the national security of India.
yeah. Actually, the
And
problem is in the constitution, every citizen has the right. The problem is the main problem of the BJP government. It is run by the RSS, and RSS is having a very big propaganda against the minority community as Muslims as well as the Christians of India. They are systematically planting all the Swami type people to go and take a rally and spit the venom against the Muslim community, because the reason is now just the election is going on in Uttar Pradesh, the northern of India, a very adjacent state to Uttarakhand, where the Swami Yatanan, the person who has speak against the mass genocide of the Muslim community. So they want to take the mileage of this kind of rallies, and there is not a single arrest now. Only one FIR has been registered, but no arrest, nothing has been taken up till now.
um, uh, eh, brother Imtiyaz,
Yeah,
given the nature of the political circumstances,
yeah,
as we are talking about in India, but I would relate to all over the world for any given circumstances, where we use government as a tool uh, for the political party to oppress the opposition. And this is, I'm sorry to say that the biggest population and the biggest, by population biggest democracy in the world
yeah,
is not maintaining the democracy up to its standard. and
yeah,
and through your article, and also, I read a lot of articles, news outlet from India. What I see that the ruling party, the BJP, the Modi's government, even though they get arrested, those people, some of them they get arrested, but they came out bail or they get free very easily, and there is no, sorted action taken by the government that can prevent, because once they start in a small group, then they become big, then it's become a norm, and it's become a way of life every day, that okay, we are gonna directly tell, we are gonna persecute Muslims or Christian in India, and they have no place. But we are not living in a 1947, you just don't get a train and send those 15% of population to all over the world. But that's not happening. But since it's not going to happen in India, the Muslims in India, the Christian in India, they're going to stay there. And that's their country. As you mentioned, every citizen has the right. But given the circumstances, as you mentioned in your column, and so no, even Congress, the political party Congress has been quiet. And is there any action or any comments made by the Modi government or the Prime Minister himself?
you have asked a very, very good question. Main what happened? India is the biggest democracy of the world. It constitutes two houses. One is the Rajya Sabha, the other is the Lok Sabha, in which BJP is having a very thumping majority. The main motive of the BJP is to completely suppress the opposition, that is the Congress. And the main problem is Congress leadership has been totally collapsed. There is no such opposition, and it is only due to the media of India. The electronic media is playing a very, very danger role. Very, very danger role they are playing. And what happened? The president of the Congress, the main opposition party of India, is Rahul Gandhi. What they do, the in the media first they tell Rahul Gandhi as a pappu. Pappu means a child. If you in such a serious issue is going in and someone tells the child, then all the big issues go side and it don't no one take him seriously. That's the problem. So the opposition is of no use now. In every state, it is decimating. In every state, if you tell in Uttar Pradesh, where once during the time of Indira Gandhi, the grandmother of Rahul Gandhi, they were just like the same thumping majority of BJP. But now the scenario has been changed. After the demolition of Babri Masjid, the coming of Narendra Modi government, they have invested. The RSS invested in all the process in the government department, in the judiciary department, in the police department, and now they are getting the dividend from all the means if there is any kind of crime against the Muslim community, there will be no kind of help from the government department. This is happening in India.
Uh, Imtiyaz, I think in late 1990s, close to 2000,
Yeah,
I was reading an article, The Rise of Balthakari, you know.
yeah,
Uh, so I still remember I was reading one of the article either in New York Times or Washington Post,
yeah,
either one of the news outlet. I cannot recall which one was it exactly. I still remember the topics that I was reading during that time. There was an alarming sign, very strong alarm that
yeah,
the
yeah,
local government in India, the fundamentalist group, Hindu group, one of them was the Bal Thakari's support to bring the BJP into power, at least to make a noise during that time. And even that time, I think the Congress, overlooked or ignored the danger that was taking place in India during that time. The Hinduism was rising up, and in any given democracy, you cannot oppress minority and live in a very peacefully. One way or other way, it's gonna come and catch up with you. So given that respect, I'm just trying to mention that the persecution of Muslim, openly called killing of Muslim, is a direct threat to national security in
yeah,
India, no doubt about it. But there is a economic sector also. Today we are living, every leaders of the world, any chance they get, they like to tell that we are living in a global village, in a one village, because of the technology. It became one, because right now we are conducting an interview. I am talking to you through Webex because of the technology. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we had to use the satellite. So
yeah,
the world has become one, and the news, the propaganda, especially the propaganda news, runs faster than the wind. So given that nature, why did, through your observation that you have been observing the Indian politics, why the Congress, the once the I grew up knowing that, okay, Congress is the only party in India, who comes to the power, and they have done a lot of good things for India. Why they disappear? Why they didn't take any action from
the,
the local? The all politics is local. Once
yeah.
locals control, then everything gets controlled.
The main problem of the Congress is of the policy. The Congress was tried to woo the Muslim votes, and somewhere he tries to woo the Hindus vote. And the main problem is the censorship, the Gandhi family, because only the Gandhi family decides who should contest the election and who will get the ticket. So I will tell, because of that policy, the BJP took the advantage, and BJP came from the cadarship. The RSS is the very biggest cadre of the country. So they harvested and converted into the workers. It is not the same in the Congress. If the Congress is working, if anybody is doing a very good job in the Congress party, but he didn't get the ticket for the election of the MLA and the member of parliament. This was the reason. And other main reason was the policy. And what happened during the time of Manmohan Singh government, the UPA 1 and UPA 2, no doubt they have ruled India 10 years. I'm talking about from 2000 to 2014 somewhere. The Manmohan Singh did a very great job. There was a great depression also, but India did not came at that periphery. What happened? That they took all the matter to the media. The media started the scams in the Congress party. The Congress did not came and answered that question. That backfired Congress. Means if somebody is making you allegation that you are come on, you are a corrupt party, then they should come and come clean to the public. The Congress did not take the suo moto, and that was the reason of the debacle. The main reason of the economy. And now economy is not good in India, which you are talking. Everybody is talking about the mandir and masjid. The what is happening in the you told me about the technology, about you are sitting in the USA, I'm in the Mumbai, Maharashtra, India's capital. It is the magic of technology. But what happened? This technology, this what is happening in India? It is only the India is divided into two community now. One is pro Modi and other is anti Modi. Everywhere, and it is a very big war in the Twitter, in the Facebook. If you'll see, there is a minus com, there is a negative, there is a positive. This is the reason the Congress is not in the position to counter BJP. It is not that Congress in which you are talking about 1970s, 1980s. Now the technology has came. If somebody wants to drag to the back foot to the BJP, then they should come to the new reforms, new policies. Then I think so the biggest democracy will survive. Otherwise, everything will be collapsed in the coming time.
So this is alarming, especially for
Yeah,
the minority in India.
yeah,
Once I have been following Modi's government as much as close as I could, and I always found one fascination about following the BJP that comes from the local stronghold. you
yeah,
know
correct.
they they planned mathematically, and they execute their plan thoroughly without any mistakes. you know
Correct,
the,
correct.
the politic, what I read through the news outlets, and what that way their body language, their language of the speech, I think they they want to gain the momentum
Yes, yes,
and the power for the short period of time. Then they think, okay, we'll go from there and we will try to minimize the pressure that comes from the local government. But at
correct.
the end, they fail to do so, because the once somebody give you the power, they literally controls you. And one person, one vote. And India, as
Yeah,
you mentioned, RSS controls the in every state. They have a thumbs, and very strong thumbs, that Modi is not capable of overcoming them. So that's itself is a very dangerous situation for Indian national security. You just cannot come to the UN and quote Mahatma Gandhi and everything is okay. No, there is a millions of journalists like you, Imtiyaz,
yeah,
who has come forward, and India is coming out of the closet. You just
yeah,
cannot say I am the biggest population and biggest democracy in the world. We want you to succeed. We want stable India. We want the stable democracy in India. We want the Muslims in India to live peacefully beside the Hindus and other majority groups, and they have been living for centuries without any chaotic moment. Every country has their moment, every country has their ups and downs. But in India recently, the rise of Hinduism, the rise of BJP, since Modi came to the power, it's mind boggling, and it's very alarming, at least at least for the future term, for the national security of India. I am mentioning national security of India again and again because I myself believe once the country is stable, the minority is secure. Once the country's law and order is implemented properly, the minorities are secured in that particular given country. But I don't see any green light in India, especially coming out from the Modi's government. And you also mentioned in your column one event in New Delhi,
Yeah.
that there was an arrest. Would you please share that event, that one person got arrested, then next day he got released?
Yeah, but one thing I want to tell you there. First, I want to talk about Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi, there is a two term of Narendra Modi, means NDA in the 2014 and NDA in the 2019. In 2014, there was no such hard, no such strict agenda against the minority community. The second term of Narendra Modi was very calculated. What happened? The voters of India, Narendra Modi has promised that after our winning, we will build a Ram Janmabhoomi, we will do so many things for the Hindu community, and he is not wrong because he is making his own agenda. It is his political party, it is his wish. He is going to the voter and he is appealing that you vote for me, I will do so and so thing for the Hindu community. He is not wrong. The problem is the Congress. The Congress has not fulfilled his promises. The second thing, the Muslim minority of India, I don't think so. There is so much in danger. The reason is one, the Hindus of India are are somewhere in support with the Muslim community. They are fighting with us. Means in the judiciary field, yeah, in the police department. There are no doubt. This is really a very big country, India, in which Hindus are also supporting. But let's see if this election now. I think so. In March there is the Uttar Pradesh election. If the BJP will decimate, then I think so some changes will come from Narendra Modi, because Narendra Modi first time in 7 years the farmer laws, you can recall your memory, he has backtracked. Otherwise there was no such any move by Narendra Modi to foot back. Only this time.
Yeah, I saw I think I think this week he was going to a some sort of ceremony. Then he's he got stopped by the
Yeah,
farmers on the way. So
yeah,
then I was sharing with one of my colleagues about it, that this is not a easy things to stop the president or prime minister's vehicle
yeah,
on the way, some on the middle of the road, and
yeah.
this is very serious matter.
That was a fourth grade script written by the political party.
Exactly.
Super fail movie, I will tell.
Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up. I like to go back because
Yeah,
you mentioned the responsibility of the democratic process, or in a democracy.
yeah,
And you have mentioned quite few times the about the Congress, the party, that
yeah,
policy wise, and why they have failed. And and you also mentioned the controlling power that the Gandhi family is having into the Congress, who gets the nomination, who is going to fight to the next election.
yeah, correct.
And I think India is a big, not only a big country. India is a very talented country.
Yeah,
That's what I believe. And India has a lot of talented people, from all walks of life.
correct.
And and what do you think Congress can minimize, at least minimize the pressure, or minimize the all those propaganda that's coming out from RSS or Hindu fundamentalists, killing again Muslims, persecution of Christianity, all the things. What sort of policy that Congress can adopt for to serve India, not a group of people like the BJP does, but where they can make some inroads. As you have mentioned, there is an election will held in few days in the coming weeks in Uttar Pradesh. So if BJP doesn't do well, that would be another sign and another opportunity. Politics always looks for opportunity and moment. So do you think the Congress party in India are well equipped, in policy wise, in manpower wise, to capture that moment and go forward with a big agenda to unite the country?
Correct. You are correct. What happened? The Rahul Gandhi is not leading the campaign process in Uttar Pradesh. Now his sister Priyanka Gandhi has came into the fray. And what the most interesting thing is about the BJP. The BJP frightens only of Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi because they know if in the future, 5 years or 10 years in the future, only if we will come out of the power only because of this Gandhi family. Because no doubt there is a big difference between Congress and BJP is the word constitution. BJP don't believe in constitution. Congress believes in constitution. And I think so. This time in Uttar Pradesh, Priyanka Gandhi will do some good thing. Some good result is expected. Because of that, Adityanath Yogi is the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh. What happened if Priyanka Gandhi goes to any of the families, whether it is a Muslim family, Hindu family, there's 6 to 7 ministers of the Narendra Modi government turns and make into the crowd and tries to block her. The same thing happened in the West Bengal about the Mamta Banerjee. What Mamta Banerjee did? She was a fierce lady. 22 cabinet minister and Narendra Modi, they all were stationed. But what happened? It was a very biggest democracy of the world. The West Bengal voted against BJP. And the same what you told that India is a very big country. In south of India, the south of India has also rejected BJP. Because now after 3 years, 4 years, when the economy matters, I think so that will be the reason for the debacle of Narendra Modi government.
Thank you. And you mentioned the Kolkata, the
Mamta Banerjee.
Mamata Banerjee.
Mamta
Do you
Banerjee.
think what took place in Kolkata under Mamata Banerjee's leadership, that can be copied to Uttar Pradesh?
Yes, it can. It is possible. It is possible. It is possible because the reason is there is a lot of sectarian in the Hindu community also, in the Muslim community. There are the Rajput vote, the Brahmin vote, Dalit vote. It is multiple divided. So anything can happen, and the main is the reason of the COVID. The COVID, it was not managed properly. That is only the reason the Uttar Pradesh government from the last 3 months, it is giving a full page advertisement in the electronic media, in the print media. It is flooded with the advertisement of the good work of Adityanath BJP government. Means they are somewhere they are anticipating that it can be a debacle also. This is.
So, do you think at the end, the if as you mentioned, Congress is expecting to do well in the Uttar Pradesh, the upcoming election.
Yeah.
If they do so, in politics, as I mentioned, and as you know, and all our viewers know, momentum is a very, very important things in politics. The leaders, they are responsible to create the momentum, to educate the voters why they should vote for them, not the opposition or their opponent. So
Yeah.
doing so in Uttar Pradesh, and do you see any hopeful, or any encouragement, scenario, political scenario? I am not talking about the speeches made by Congress, Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi. I am talking about the the systematic political, politically, that Congress can come out from this mess, losing mess, that BJP took control in the last election. Do you see anything that Congress is anticipating that, okay, we will execute our thoughtful process, whatever we have decided, and we will see if we can copy this to the next, next another province in the next upcoming election? Do you anticipate that Congress is heading towards that direction?
Yeah, it is possible. What happened? It is a very biggest state. It is normally somewhere 340 seats. It will take 24 to 30 days for complete. It is happening in 6 phases in Uttar Pradesh. There is a many member of MLAs over there. What happened in the last 3 days of the election? The momentum rises. It is a very big democracy, and crores of voters come. It depends what's the policy, and main the women decide. In Uttar Pradesh, the women decide whom to vote. That time, the Adityanath BJP, the complete vote was given for the Narendra Modi, not for Yogi. Yogi came after the election. So I think so. This time, the Priyanka Gandhi is very favorite in the woman class. She's doing all the rallies in the woman area. She's visiting the women. She's telling the woman empowerment. Is talking about the woman empowerment. So I think so. It can change if Congress takes 40 to 50 seats. It will be really a melting point for the BJP government. It will be the tip of the iceberg.
Well, even if it's a tip of the iceberg, as you mentioned, the momentum has built up for Congress, and let's see, whether they can utilize that momentum and capture the hearts of the voters and go forward and do some good things for India. And I like to ask you, from your observation, if you may, share your observation what's going on in India. So give us the, like 3 or 4 points that what can be done. One thing is law is there. I was reading your column, and I found that two retired general echo your thinking process, that this sort of political bully needs to stop, and needs to stop immediately, right away.
Correct,
And
correct.
you also mentioned in your column that there isn't any political party who came forward, made any statement, which I have mentioned from the very beginning. So my question is, what can be done? Who should come forward? In every country there is some, academics, there is a, scholars from all, given departments, sociologists, then environmentalists, then think tanks, then also the media, as you mentioned, from the very beginning. Media plays a crucial role for BJP to win the election. And the if any nation fail to control the propaganda of the media, that nation destines to have some chaotic democratic process. And you can see what's going on in USA right now, because of the propaganda, news. It's right now they are having a, just like a breakdown, nervous breakdown in a democracy in USA. So through your observation, I have mentioned academics, the scholars, who should come out and condemn strongly, and try to share their opinion more openly, more publicly to the, so that the government can take some actions.
Yeah, the main thing, it depends. I think so. You don't expect a single favor from the media. The media will never support the Muslim community. The main mess up of the complete turmoil of India is only due to the media. Now the media is hated. Now the responsibility is of the Muslim community, because what happened, the NGOs consisting of Muslim community, the Maulanas, the religious leaders, this system of 70 years, I will tell, after independence, it has been completely collapsed. There is no dialogue between the Muslim and Hindu communities. Means there you don't expect anything from the media and the political. It is the responsibility of the Muslim community to go and directly interact with the Hindu brothers and try to clear out the difference of the Quran. Means there is a propaganda going against the Muslim community that there are terrorism preaches in Islam, that they are telling all negative words of the Prophet Muhammad. It is now the responsibility, and I think so it will work. It will go directly. You can convert the masjid into the community center. There you can invite the Hindu community. You can show them, because what happened? The media has spitted a venom, and then the Facebook, WhatsApp, these all are controlled by the IT cell. What happened? I think so. 15 days back, there is a Suli app and bully app. Have you? I don't think so. Have you read that news? 5 to 6 IIT students for the BTech, they have created an app about the selling of the Muslim community. They all have been arrested, and the Delhi police, the Maharashtra police have arrested them. So this thing has been, I will tell, the venom has been put pierced into the intellectual class also, the young teenagers who have not started their life. They are going into the information technology, and they are doing such kind of things. So I think so they should not be punished. They should be reformed, and the Muslim community, it is a responsibility of Muslim community to go and interact with this kind of boys, that why are you doing so negative about the Muslim community? The Islam is not like this. The America, which you told me, the America surveillance after the 9/11 attack. I was there. I was the alumni of the American government, State Department. I've been called from the State Department. They have showed me the Mother Mosque, everything. What happened? The Muslims were told when created as a terrorist, but now the scenario has changed. I think so. If the Muslim will start and invite the Hindu brothers to come and visit our mosque, what we are telling in the sermons, in the Friday prayer, what is there in the Quran, I think so that thing will only work. Otherwise, political parties and media, they are for their own benefit. It will not benefit, never, they will never support the Muslim community.
Well, Imtiyaz, what you have said that the political party and the media, they will never support the Muslim community. That's a very alarming sign to
Yeah.
be in India and to be a Muslim in India. And you brought up a few points that I like to comment on. The responsibility that starts from the Muslim community.
Yeah,
That's a,
correct.
that's a very good point, and I think your thought process went to how to minimize the the
Eh,
direct killing of Muslims,
yeah,
and also uplift the community itself, where these two can come together, the opposition of Muslim and the Muslim community, bridge the gap, if I may say, and calm down the situation. But at the same time, it rests with the community. But also, I'm not that helpful that you are, from your answer. I can tell that you are not that helpful uh, for the political party and the media. But the political party and especially the media has a vital role and important role to play for the sake of the India, not for the sake of the Muslim, but for the sake of the India, for the interest of the Indian national security. And if how who can influence the media in India? uh, you mentioned many groups. So it has to come from especially the intellectual community, the academics and the scholars in all walks of life. If they, I'm not questioning their, the love of their country, but you cannot love one group of people and you cannot dislike the other group of people, meaning you cannot serve one group of people and that deserve the other group of people or oppress the other group of people. Given this scenario, I am hopeful as you are. I want
Yeah.
India to succeed. And who can influence particularly this group? You are doing your due diligence, you are coming forward, you are trying to educate, through your writings, through your column, to the common general population in India, what's going on, what Islam is, and there is a best interest to live together. And then the Indian Muslims are going nowhere. They just cannot come and say, hey, go. They are not going nowhere, because the
Nowhere.
Muslims
Yeah.
Muslims community has contributed. Do you think the history, we see the celebration of, Indian 70 years, 50 years, the independence, celebration. But I was actually ashamed of myself as a subcontinent. I'm coming from Bangladesh, but how we treat the leaders, as a Bangladeshi, I follow the subcontinent politics quite well. So I didn't find any mention of any Muslims, leader that, they have been leading India's, since 1850s. I can mention only few names. What comes up to my mouth, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, then,
Yeah. Correct.
Ali brothers, then Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali that I mentioned, then, the silk letters that took place. Uh, these are the things. Do you think that in a academically they should teach the real history of India, what took place prior to the 1947, who contributed, who was the leaders, that can help to minimize the chaotic situation a little bit in India, the tensions between Hindu and Muslims.
No, what happened? There are the two. This is a very very serious and very very divided issue. If it all was written by the historians of the history, correct? The fact has been written into the history. If negative thing comes from the RSS or from the IT cell governed by the BJP, the Hindu and the Muslim community gives answer to that post, and nobody can deny the contribution of the Muslim freedom fighters, just like you told about the Muhammad Ali Biradran, Muhammad Ali, Shaukat Ali, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. In today's time also, no doubt that there are Muslim contributing in every in the police department, in the judiciary department. They only, I will tell, the 3 to 4% of hardliners Hindus who are spoiling the image of India in India as well as in internationally. There are 3 to 4%, 3 to 4% are doing like this thing, who are trying to negating the Muslims. But I don't think so. It will long last long. They in the coming time they will be ruined out.
I hope so too. And
Yeah,
the Imtiyaz, we are about almost out of our time. But
yeah.
before I go, I like to I like to ask you another questions. Regarding the future of the Muslim community in India. You brought up very good discussion, and you have shared a lot of your views that you have observed in India through your personal experiences, and which is very good. And I hope our viewers all over the world will have a better understanding about in India, what's going on in Indian
I
Muslim
wa-
community.
I want to quote two things. One is about the Great Britain, other is the USA. Their policy was always against the Muslim community. And what happened today? If you go to the Great Britain and America, there are many mosques and many Islam is very flourishing, no doubt. The same thing will happen in India also. The Muslim will survive. this game of Narendra Modi and company, this kind of government who are putting hatred in the Hindu community, the Hindu community in the coming time, between 5 to 10 years, they will kick them out because the truth is truth. Nobody can kill the truth. And Muslim,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Oh, well said, Imtiyaz. You know, falsehood is always falsehood, and truth is
yeah,
always truthful. Yeah,
the biggest power of the world is truth. And if you are telling always the negative and the terrorism, the Muslim, they will fall. They will fall on their own mouth.
it started to fall. It started to fall around
Yeah.
the world. It started to fall, and you know, yeah, Imtiyaz, I like to thank you for your time
Thank you.
and for a well discussion. I have learned a lot about Muslim community in India, and I hope that our viewers around the world will, you know, whoever get a chance to watch your comments and your thoughtful, you know, answers, they will be benefited. And I wish all the best in Indian Muslim community. And I personally like to,
Thank you.
you know, thank you from our organization, what you do personal level, what you do for your country and for the Muslim community in India. And I like to thank you once again for your
Thank you.
time and for the generosity of your wisdom. And thank you so much. I like to have you on our show, you know, many times and
Many.
talk about India.
Okay. Okay. Take care. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye.